All right, hello, rockers, rollers, and heavy metal maniacs. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. I am absolutely thrilled. My guest today is the one and only Mr. Andy Brings, of course, guitarist, vocalist of the Andy Brings band, and my brain just mushed there. Double Crush Syndrome, the Traceelords, and then of course formerly of Powergod and the mighty Sodom. How you doing, Andy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. Hey, Victor.
Yeah, so good to see you. Really excited to chat with
Do I
you.
look good? Do I look good enough for your show? Is it?
Oh, you look
Oh,
great. Yeah, you look great. You look good. Yeah.
I
Um,
shaved.
I did not.
Yeah, I can see that.
Um, but yeah, so I guess the big news right now, the big exciting news is, of course, Tapping the Vein from the, Sodom, one of the great Sodom albums, is being re-released coming up here in November. Um,
Right.
it's been remastered, remixed, and I think it's a double album, so it has like the remastered 2024 remaster, and then it also has yeah, a remix that you've done.
Exactly.
Which is the entire album in its full album on the B side or the second disc. So that comes out in November. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. I'm really, I mean, such a great album, and it's always been one of my favorites of Sodom. And I'm a big Sodom fan, and that album has always, it always spoke to me. There was just something, and I guess it was, my age at the time. I think that album came out when I was about 21 years old, and and I was just, a massive thrash fan, still am to this day. And that album just has always been, I've always held near and dear to me. And I'm really excited for this new remastered version of it. So I was really curious about your involvement, because I mean, you obviously left the band 30 years ago, so close to 30
Exactly.
years ago. Yeah. So how did this all come about?
I mean, you just said that you were very young when the album came out. We just, prior to the recording, we established that we are the same age.
Oh yeah.
We are both born in 71. So I was 21 when I recorded this, when I wrote and did this album. So that's the story that I hear a lot, the first generation of Sodom fans that started with the band in 85, 86, who were kind of, when Agent Orange ruled thrash metal here in Europe, they were there for the first peak of the band, and like all things, some fans fade away, and Better Off Dead was not as heavy, not as thrashy. So they kind of didn't have Sodom in their focus, so to speak, maybe that much. But there was a new generation of 16, 17, 18-year-olds who were into Sodom, and maybe Tapping the Vein was their gateway drug, so to speak,
Right.
especially in Germany with Wachturm, the song with German lyrics. It was for some, the Black Album by Metallica turned a lot of people onto metal at the time, and like we did, like us before, we wanted to get more stuff, more extreme stuff, more aggressive stuff, more fast stuff, and Sodom was everywhere. And this was the cover was great. It looked like a comic book.
Yeah.
So I totally get that this album, like you said, is near and dear to so many people's hearts. My involvement back then, of course, I was the guitarist, and the guitarist writes the riffs, and I wrote lyrics for 2 songs. So, and back then we didn't have anything on our minds but the music. We didn't have to take care of social media. We didn't have to.
Right.
We were not content creators. We're just musicians. So the only thing we had to do was go into the rehearsal room and come up with new music. So that was my involvement for when I was in the band at 20. I joined the band when I was still in high school, my
Wow.
final year in high school. So I finished school while I was in Sodom, and
That's wild.
It's really wild. It's really wild, and I don't think this would happen today. But I'm really glad it did. And I'm really thankful to the guys, to Tom and especially Chris. Rest in peace. You know, it's he's no longer with us. 16 years. For 16 years now. Yeah, and then 30 years ago, I didn't leave the band. I got kicked out. There's a big difference, at least for me. At least for me. But it's all good. You know, Tom and I have been friends for since early 2000s. I've produced another Sodom album, the self-titled one in 2006. I produced an Uncle Tom record, his solo project, and I've been busy with my stuff ever since. So we've been. You cannot leave the Sodom realm. You know, I always compare it. You know, The Godfather Part 3, where Al Pacino says, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in."
Yeah.
This is how Sodom feels to me. You know, you can't leave it.
Right. Once you're part of the family.
Yes, exactly. So in 2012, we talked about the reissue for the first time for the 20th anniversary. But it somehow didn't happen. The record company at the time, the original record company, SPV here in Germany, they didn't think it was a thing to do, they wanted to do. So that got shelved. And in 2021, Tom called me, "Hey, BMG, you know, the big player BMG, worldwide global player BMG bought the Sodom catalog. And they are very much interested in re-releasing Tapping the Vein for the 30th anniversary in 2022. I said, "Great, let's talk," because, you know, I'm still, when it comes to my era of the band, I'm still a member, so to speak. I'm still a shareholder, you know, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And so we talked, and the first Zoom meetings with the label began, and everybody was in great spirits. Some things, it happened really fast, and I said, "Great, let's do this." I have all this stuff, you know. I didn't throw anything away. I have all kinds of photos and live videos, because I bought a video. The first thing I bought when I joined Sodom was a video camera. Oh, so I have a lot of unreleased material, live concert, backstage footage. And then everything stopped for contractual reasons, because there was some things were not worked out properly by the legal teams of BMG and Sodom. So everything just stopped, and then the communication stopped altogether for 2.5 years, and to a point where, when I wrote an email to the group, and the group being Tom, the label, and myself, of course, I didn't get an answer from nobody anymore. It was just crickets. You know, it was on the label side. I mean, BMG is a really big company. You know, they bought the Motley Crue catalog. They have the Scorpions, Motorhead, Black Sabbath, you name it, Creator, all kinds of bands. This is what they do. They buy the catalog, and then they put out these great re-releases. So they have other shit to do. You know, when Sodom is not priority number one, they still have work to do. So I really thought that was it. It's never going to come out. You know, fans getting angry on Facebook, blaming the band. You know, I got messages on the Facebook Messenger. "Hey Andy, I'm fan so and so from so and so. I've heard you wanted too much money, and this is why Tapping the Vein is not coming out." And I said, "Where the fuck is this coming from?" You know, and I basically had the remix done by the beginning of 2022. And I had my work. I was finished with my whole work. I compiled some 3 live albums from old live material that we had, which are also in the deluxe version of the new re-release. But nothing happened. And by I don't know, January, February this year, I just thought I'm gonna try this one more time. So I called Tom, hey, what are we doing here? Are you guys, are you afraid of earning money? You know, what's the problem here? You know, the fans really want this. You know, the fans want this.
Yeah.
There is a worldwide demand, and the people love this album. You know, what's going on here? And I said, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna contact the label again, and try to get this show on the road again. Said okay. He said, okay, Andy, you got my permission, you know, to speak for both of us. Go. And go I did, you know. So and then I called the label again and said, hey, it's been 2 years, you know, this is the 30, even if we get shit done pretty fast, it's still the 32nd anniversary. And what kind of anniversary is this, you know? But yeah. Nevertheless, we want this out by Christmas 2024, no matter what, with or without you. Even to the point where we said we would buy back the album from you.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, because Tom agreed to postpone the next regular Sodom album to spring 25, so that there is not a clash of releases, you know. Yeah. And somehow that re-sparked the flame, so to speak. And long story long, everything got into motion again. And then it went from Germany to Los Angeles. Los Angeles had to decide if the Los Angeles office of BMG had to decide whether they want to do this or not. They said yes, and all of a sudden London, the UK office, got involved. And this is when things really took off. And I have to give props to our product manager, Miles, from the UK, from BMG UK, who is an enthusiastic metalhead like you and me, knows the shit, old school thrasher, and also a great product manager. And he really got this show back on the road again. And this was in April or early May. And then things, you know, 3 years, nothing happens. And then 6-8 weeks, everything happens. It was really crazy. So we had to take care of the contract, the legal stuff. I had to revisit my mix again because, you know, 2 years, I just didn't want to just give them what I did 2 years ago. I wanted to update it with fresh ears, you know, and check how everything really sounded like. I had to finish the live albums. Tom and I had to meet a few times and scan old photos, old flyers, all kinds of stuff, you know, and we had to take care of the liner notes. And it was really a great collaboration. You know, I've worked with so many record companies, and 95% of that of those were really a pain in the ass. Right. Really unpleasant experiences, you know, not very user-friendly people most of the time, you know. It's but this time Tapping the Vein really gets the love it deserves. Nice. It's an amazing collaboration, and we couldn't be happier. I can show you I have it right here.
Oh, great.
It's coming out in November, but you know, I have it right here. It's this is the double LP. You know, finally it's coming out on as a nice. Gatefold. So the whole cover, which is really one big picture, can be seen. You know, the front and the back. It's an amazing package, and this is just the double vinyl. You know, it's red. It's really great. And I also have the deluxe book pack here. Oh, wow. I haven't opened it yet. I don't know. It's a little emotional. I'm waiting for a special moment. You know, it's this is how everything started for me. Right. And I've worked and fought so hard for this. but this is a great package. And we also, this is like, this is QVC here, right? This is a
Yeah.
home shopping television. But I just had it right here because I've had I did another interview today, but in person, so I took all the things there. We have a 3 CD pack, you know, and the craziest thing, and then the home shopping is over. This is already sold out. From the deluxe book pack, we had a 100 liquid filled.
Wow, that's
you know, this is a test. This is a test pressing. What's in the actual pack is blood filled, so the liquid will be red. But I have a test pressing with glue. Did you know that stuff like this existed? I didn't.
I've heard of it once, I guess, and I never saw it. A friend of mine told me apparently Slayer did an album with a re-release with blood in the the transparent vinyl with the liquid inside. I've never seen it, but I guess it was incredibly expensive, but yeah, I've never seen it before. Yeah. It's really cool.
You know, this is 2 records glued together. I had no idea.
Oh wow.
This is really 2 one-sided records that they glue together, and then they, I don't know, you know, people walk on the moon, and we have this. It's crazy. It's crazy. But this was sold out within 10 minutes.
Yeah,
just 100. But yeah, this is the story of my involvement with this, and I really couldn't be happier. You know, I've been outside of the band for 30 years now, but it's this is how everything started for me, and it's a great time to be an ex-Sodom guitar player. You know, I get so much love from fans. You want to talk about this? I have 17-year-olds who write to me via Messenger or Instagram, who say how much they love this, and this is, you know, mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's
really mind-blowing. But it's a great time to be an ex-guitar player of Sodom.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's a testament too to, I mean, just how impactful you were. It's interesting because, yeah, I mean, you were in the band for 4 or 5 years.
No.
3 years.
3.
Oh, okay. So 3 years.
We did so much stuff within these 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
These days, a band releases an album every 5 years. And we had within the 3 years I was in the band, we had 2 studio albums, 1 EP, 1 double live album, and 1 home video, which is crazy. But I don't want to talk too much. I'm interrupting you again. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No, but I mean, I think it just shows the indelible impact that you have, you know, as a musician, and on that, you know, on Sodom itself, you know, the fact that, you know, we're having this conversation 30 years later, you know, about
Exactly.
You know, this time that you were on, and you know, and of course now your involvement too with the remix. So I was curious, what can you tell me, you know, about the remix? Kind of what was your approach there?
That's a great question. It's my favorite question. I love talking about this because when we announced that the album will feature a remix or a redux version, some fans said, "Oh no, why? We love the original sound so much." And I go, "Yeah, the original one is in the package, remastered. You know, it's still the same album, but we were fortunate enough that we had the original tapes, and we were fortunate enough that they were still playable. You know, you had to bake them. You know, do you know this process with old tapes? You have to bake them in the oven at a certain temperature for a certain amount of time. So if you put them on the reel-to-reel, it's on the tape machine. It's the machine doesn't destroy the tape because they get kind of they draw moisture, you know, over the years. You know how, no matter how good you and how proper you store them, how dry you store them, still they will still pick up moisture somehow, and this is bad for the machine and ultimately bad for the tape. So we have the original tapes, the original tracks, the original 24 tracks, 48 tracks, and we had it digitized, and I said, I want to remix this from my point of view. What was like to be in the band. You know, my approach was not to make the album better or modern. I didn't use any kind of samples. I didn't reamp the guitars. I didn't want to make the run-of-the-mill 2024 power metal Sabaton. Every snare hit sounds the same. Every band uses the same guitar sound profile thing. I wanted to bring out what's in there. So my approach was, you open the door to a really great rehearsal space, and you stand in front of or within the band. There's stuff exploding, like in Body Parts' first song, there is a halftime double bass thing. And the most important thing on this in this part is the fucking double bass by Chris, you know? So that gets a feature. Then my solo comes in. It's really here. It really, splits your skull in half. And I wanted to showcase Tom's voice, in the original mix, and rightfully so. It's all a wall of sound, and I wanted to really bring out the little stuff that gets lost in the shuffle, so to speak, and within all that brutality of the original sound, which is iconic, and it's I totally get it, but just a compendium piece, for somebody who knows the original record in and out. Just put on the headphones and listen to the Redux and say, I didn't know that was there. So what I also did was, I didn't kind of clean it. You hear Chris's count-ins, you hear the tape humming, the tape noise a little, and then you hear Chris counting in with the sticks or with the hi-hat. And when there's a break, da-dum, 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 you usually punch out the noise that the strings make, I didn't do this, so it's kind of live. Cool. When there's a break and you hear Tom sliding over the bass strings, that's all still in there now. I didn't use a lot of reverb. I wanted this to be in your face, so that you really get a different approach. Plus, when I went through all the tracks and from the original tapes, I found lost vocal tracks that we totally forgot about. Reincarnation had a completely different vocal track where Tom sings with his high voice, with his Araya voice. I always say he has an Araya voice and a death metal voice, and these things with his Araya voice, so to speak. So, and then I remember that back in the studio, we figured, this is not working. This is not what the song needs. And Harris Jones, the producer, said, Tom, why don't you sing it? Why don't you go extra deep, sing it with your super low voice? And then all of a sudden, the song blossomed. An evil blossom, but it still blossomed. But so for the Redux, I picked the original vocal track, so fans can get something different. Tapping the Vein had an intro solo. I totally forgot about that's in there now. Wachturm, the German song, had a different song. There was a second solo and a different solo. I used that for the remix version. So yeah, we get some of same old, but not entirely. And this is, I've heard people, I've talked to people who have heard it, and the first single is out, Bullet in the Head is out, and people write to me and say how much they like it, that it sounds fresh, like it was recorded yesterday. And this is a great compliment. It's I don't want to replace the original album, not at all, but I just want to give, because you can't fuck with fans' memories or the way they are acquainted with a record. I'm the same. I hate the fact that I cannot get the original mixes of the classic Megadeth records on streaming services. They're all remixed.
Yeah.
2 or 3 times sometimes, you know. I don't know, there are so many versions of the albums, and the only album that really benefits from the remix is the first one, Killing Is My Business, because there is finally the final killing, or so is it called. There's finally a version where I think this is how they wanted it to sound back then.
Yeah.
But couldn't. But you know, there is one of my favorite Megadeth records, So Far So Good So What. Yeah, I get it. It sounds like it was recorded in the Cologne Cathedral. You know, I get it. It's reverby as hell. But this is part of the appeal. This is, you know, this is what the record was like.
Yeah,
and the new
part of its charm.
Exactly, like songs like Mary Jane or In My Darkest Hour. You know, you want this eerie atmosphere that the reverb creates.
Yeah.
And the new version, a newer version, is it's bone dry, and I don't like it. And but the other versions are not on Spotify, for example. But we wanted to give the fans both the original thing and something new to enjoy.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm really excited. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. Because I've always been a sucker for, I love demos. I love the history and evolution of a song. I think that's really fascinating. You know, as much as I may love, you know, the final, whatever was finally recorded, I love hearing. So I'm really excited, you know, to hear these tracks with the, you know, with Tom's original vocals, reincarnation. That's fascinating to me, and to hear the count-ins, and yeah, I can't wait to hear this.
And talking about reincarnation, I left the keyboards at the end. I just left them out. You know, this da-da-dan, da-dan, dan, da-dan, dan. All of a sudden, this oriental keyboard melody comes in, you know, that Harris Jones, the producer, recorded after we had left the studio. That's Harris. When I got the finished record 32 years ago, I was, hey, what's that? But for the Redux version, I just omitted this. You know, we have this on the original one. Let's just hear what we did. You know, it's just da 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 da. This is it. You know, so there is. It's not a new album, but there are new elements, all new elements.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
3 live albums in the deluxe version. There are 3 live albums, 1 on vinyl. So the deluxe version is 3 vinyl LPs. The live vinyl is the final Witch Hunt, Chris Witch Hunter's last concert with the band in December of 1992, December 28th in Cologne, Germany, 1992. That was recorded for radio, and we had to license this, but I had to really work on this to make it good, because I had this show on video. My girlfriend filmed it from the side of the stage. So I combined my video camera version with the radio recording, so to get a little more ambience. You know, I really wanted this to sound as good as possible. You know, it was a rough night. You know, we were a rough band anyways, but it was a rough night. You know, but it is what it is. You know, with all the mistakes, but the energy was still there. The fans are there. So that's the final Witch Hunt. And Tokyo 1992 is there. That was a professional recording. That sounds really good.
Cool.
But I've done some things, you know, to make it even better. You know, I didn't fuck with it. You know, it's still the thing. But I wanted the 3 records to be a little different. You know, it's not all 3 concerts have the same set list. So one has maybe Body Parts, and one other has Remember the Fallen. One concert has Shellfire Defense on it. So it's not 3 times the same set list. And the third one is Düsseldorf 1992, and my source material was my just my video camera from the back of the concert hall. That was my source material, my only source material for that show, for the Düsseldorf show. So, and this is kind of my favorite because it's so rough, but the audience is so loud in the mix because of this is what the microphone from the camera caught on. So it's 3 totally different live recordings that were done within weeks from each other back then, but still different. You know, you can, and if you pay attention, you kind of hear the decline from Tokyo to Cologne, the final concert. It's because it wasn't a good time, but still, it is what it is, and it's also a big tribute to Chris. You know, I learned to really, 32 years later, all that what was bad back then is all folklore by now. I really had an objective perspective on his playing, and I understand why the fans love it so much now. I had to work on the album to finally get it, what fans love about the album so much.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Because Chris, he was a monster. What a monster drummer he was.
You know, he couldn't count to 4 within the song. You know, his timing was all over the place, you know.
Yeah.
And playing with him live was challenging, but his punch unequaled.
Yeah.
To this day, his punch on the snare and his fills and his eclectic fills, you know, within a verse, you know, with no rhyme or reason. It's just what he does. Drum symphonies within 220 BPM songs. It's crazy. So I wanted to bring that out. You know, the cymbals are really audible, really for the first time, you know, in my remix, because that's what I wanted. You know, there's all of these little bells and whistles that he did on the drums, so to speak. For my guitars, I used the ambience tracks a little more. The original version has the direct mic tracks in the front, but I wanted to give my guitars more of the ambience, more of the room. Tom is really here. It's really you feel like he's shouting at you, and he's really barking these songs right in your face that you get spat on by him, you know. That's what I wanted. And for his bass sound, I used the DI sound a little more than on the original version. You know, there's a DI direct bass sound, which is bone dry. So the sound that really just comes out of the bass guitar. And then there is this distorted signature sound, which is still there, but I wanted to make it a little more audible, because Tom is certainly, and he would agree, not a virtuoso, but his bass playing is so unique. And he's kind of underrated in that regard.
Yeah.
So I wanted to feature us as players a little more, not to put ourselves on a pedestal, because we certainly don't belong there, but just to show what we really sounded like. And his voice, I think, you know, even if you're not a Sodom fan, even on the most average Sodom songs, Tom's voice is still the deal maker, because you know, to me, he's with Tom Araya, the greatest voice in thrash metal.
Yeah.
He's really versatile. He really knows what he does with his voice. He has great range. Like I said, the death metal grounds, and then the Araya screams. You know, and I wanted to showcase this as well, because you know, it's on the original version, everything, and rightfully so, is this massive wall of sound, this that it just runs you over, you know. But this time you can actually hear everything crystal clear.
Very cool. Oh, I can't wait to, I'm definitely going to get the box set, the deluxe edition. I cannot wait to get that. That is going to be cool. I think November 15th, I think, is when it's released.
Right. Yes. And that's the worldwide release, because it will get a proper US release. That's why where time was such a huge factor, because of the customs regulations. Everything had to be done by a certain point, way in advance of the release date, so that the United States have the product available. And it's, you know, it takes like 10 to 10 weeks to get a customs clearance for stuff like this.
Right.
So that's why the finished product is already here. 2 months, 8, 9 weeks prior to the release.
Nice. Oh, that's exciting. Have you not to get too ahead of myself and put too much pressure on you, obviously, because I mean you've done an amazing amount of work working on this. Have you and the band has there been any discussion about doing something similar with Get What You Deserve?
That's we're already talking about this. Yes, we have to. Yes, the idea. One idea would be when the tapping the vein mania is, behind us, so to speak, to put the spotlight on the whole era of Tom and Ripper, Atomic Dive, and myself, which was only a year and a half.
Wow.
But we did an album, an EP, a double live album, and a home video, which is crazy. Yeah. Really, a year and a half, maybe 20 months, but not more. And one idea that we are throwing back and forth is to put this era of the band, what the three of us did, in one big box.
Oh, cool.
Because we have the original tapes, so I would really love to make a companion piece, a redux of Get What You Deserve, that could use that deserves another look, to be looked at again. And we have the live album, and we have the audio tapes of the live video, the live in Essen, live at Zeche Karl, which has been out of print like forever.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to find the master tapes of the video. But yeah, this is something we are loosely talking about.
Okay. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But I think Tapping the Vein, I think this is it's going to be a huge success.
Yeah, I agree.
It's everybody's been waiting for it. It has never been re-released in 32 years. Prices on the internet, on Discogs, for the original vinyl are skyrocketing. It's really absurd.
Yeah, I've tried to get it before, and it was, I think it was $300 American.
That must have been a year ago. I think I have seen stuff. I think I've seen screenshots from fans where it's like 700, 800 euros, which is really absurd, But still, this is the market will regulate itself.
Yeah. Well, and it's great that I'm just so excited to get to be able to get it on vinyl again, remastered, and the redo redux. I can't wait. I'm over the moon, excited to get this out, to get my hands on this. I cannot wait for it to come in the mail.
That's great.
Yeah, very excited. And for those of you watching, there'll be a link so you can pre-order the album. There's a direct link in the description below, so you can definitely want to check that out. And there's really cool stuff on there too, that I mean, not just the album, but there's like cool merch too, like Tapping the Vein. There's even a Tapping the Vein coffee cup. It's pretty cool. So
exactly. And we have these stand-ups.
Oh yeah,
stand-up displays. That's another thing. There has never been Tapping the Vein merch since 1992 for various reasons, but here we are, and Tom and I, we have always worked great together. The only times when we did not work great together were when we didn't work together. We are a great team. We have very similar tastes in things. We want everything to be the best, and we really complement each other. It's really like we couldn't be more different as people, but it's kind of opposites attract. It's we have a great dynamic, and whenever we did something, it was always a very fruitful collaboration. We were always great together live when we played together, and it's I think we like each other. I mean, at this point, it's really a gift to have a relationship with someone from really another life.
Yeah.
From back then, you know, we were all so much younger. I was a kid, you know, when I see photos from back then, I really see a kid. Tom is a little older than me, but he was younger at one point, of course.
All right.
But we always got along great until we didn't, but then we did again. And it's really just a gift to have a relationship with someone who knows, with someone you can't bullshit, you know, who calls you, who really knows you and likes you for what you are. And we had this great experience together. We have so many great memories together. And the Chris Witch Hunter thing is really, we always talk about him and what it could have been done differently. But, you know, and it's really great to have this friendship and this connection to your past, and to be able to work in the present, and to have a mutual goal to work towards to. And it's great, you know. It's we're meeting tomorrow because we have to sign some posters and send them to the record company. And we met last week. And on my way to meeting him, I met his daughter just by accident in the city of Essen. You know, I'm walking down the street and I hear Andy, and I look around and it's Tom's daughter, you know, who I held as a baby when she was born in 1993. And now she is this great, beautiful, grown-up woman. And we have also a great relationship, and it's heartwarming, and it's really unique.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear that very often. Usually everybody hates each other.
Yeah.
From the past, you know.
Yeah. Well, especially, I mean, it's great. I mean, you know, because as you mentioned, you know, that you were thrown out of the band.
Yeah.
But the fact that, it's come full circle, and now you're all together.
Exactly.
That's really cool. That's cool.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that Tom sometimes rolls his eyes at what I do, but so do I sometimes. But that's part of the charm, you know. We're good friends.
Nice. That's really cool. I did want to ask you. I definitely want to talk about, you know, your other projects and other things you're doing, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about this. I was curious about how you got involved with Sodom in the first place, you know, especially because you were in school, as you mentioned earlier. Did you try out? Like, how did you join Sodom?
As I said, I was still in my final year in high school, and I've only ever wanted to be a rock musician, rock star musician, heavy metal musician. And I lived for rock and roll. I lived and breathed rock and roll. School I didn't care about, but I finished it somehow. And I really had no idea what to do after school. Maybe go to university or whatever. But I really had no idea. And I had some bands prior before I joined Sodom, but nothing ever came of them. And I was really frustrated, because I was never a part-timer, you know. I was always in it to win it. I was, you know, fuck school, fuck everything. I'm gonna work 24/7 to make it in rock and roll somehow. On what level, I don't know, but this is who I am. This is who I always was, you know. It's and this is the three bands, my three favorite bands, they implemented that in me. That's Kiss, the Ramones, and Skid Row. And they crashed my life in that order. Kiss in '79, Ramones in '82, and Skid Row in '89. Kiss '79. Did I say '79? Yes. Kiss '79, Ramones '82, Skid Row in '89. And this is, I said, especially when Skid Row came onto the scene, I said, this is really who I am. You know, I love Kiss, but this is unreal. This is Batman with guitars. I can never be Batman, you know. The Ramones, this is I can do this. I can play this. You know, I'm really a punk rock guitar player. I love DRI. You know, I love Exciter, John Ritchie, who was really just a punk rock guitarist with long hair, stuff like that. The Bad Brains. You know, this is my favorite style of guitar playing, and but plus metal, of course. But I'm not a virtuoso. You know, I'm not a shredder. I'm not. I always say I only know three, four, five things on the guitar, but those five things I know really well, and probably better than many others, you know. So I can play a song, and that makes you want to pound your fist in the air, you know. It all comes down to what you do with your right hand, and it's not the amount of distortion. It's what you do here, and the death energy that, you know, I punish the guitar, you know.
Yeah.
I punish it. So, but I was very frustrated. I was 20 and frustrated. All of a sudden, my best friend calls me and says, "Hey, you know, my former coworker is now running a video rental store, like the German equivalent to Blockbuster, you know, and Chris Witchhunter from Sodom is a regular there." And their guitar player, Michael Hoffman, left the band. You know, they were in Brazil on tour, and he stayed in Brazil. He's not coming to Germany again. They are in desperate need for a new guitar player. And if you, me, are really clever, you could probably join Sodom. I said, "Oh, what are you, on crack? What is this?" Excuse me. What is this? Is this Canon camera? What is this? So no, it's real, and I've already recommended you. So if you're interested, I can maybe set up a meeting with Chris Witchhunter. I said, "Yeah, sure, do that." And he said, "Don't tell him, just don't tell him that you're a Sodom fan. He doesn't want a fanboy in the band." I said, "That's no problem, because I'm not a Sodom fan. I hate this band." You know, it's when I heard In the Sign of Evil in 86, or whenever that came out, 85, I thought that was the greatest pile of shit I'd ever heard. And Obsessed by Cruelty is even worse. And I still feel that to this day, and Tom knows this, and this is very funny. So I didn't have to put on a show or lie to Chris's face. And then we met, and we liked each other, and I looked the part, you know. I had the hair, you know. This is how I looked, you know.
Oh yeah, nice.
You know, this is a 20-year-old kid in high school, but I had the hair, I had the ripped jeans, I had the Converse high tops. I played my guitar low, you know, not here like a ukulele, but where it should be. And he said, "Okay, please practice 3 songs, and then we get together with Tom, and then we'll see what happens." And he said, "Learn Ausgebombt, Shell Fire Defense, and an Eye for an Eye." I said, "Okay, no, that's no problem." And we said goodbye to each other, and then I just thought, how the hell do I find these songs now? There was no internet, and I didn't have Sodom fans in my among my friends. So back then, I don't know if that was the case in America, but a lot of times video rental stores were also CD rental stores.
Oh, interesting.
So I found one right here in my hometown, and they had Agent Orange and Better Off Dead. So I listened to the albums, and I thought, this is great, especially Better Off Dead. This is great. This is right up my alley. This sounds, you know, this is not this terrible noise from 8 years ago or 7 years ago. They have become a great band. Not that I'm great, but you get my point. You know, they're really good. They had this Thin Lizzy cover version, Cold Sweat, on the album, and the first song, An Eye for an Eye, was not too far removed from Slave to the Grind from Skid Row, my favorite band at the time. And I thought I could really do this. This could actually work. So I practiced these songs. I really learned them because I thought when I enter the rehearsal room with those guys, I'm gonna know these songs better than they do. So so that I don't fall into any kind of traps, maybe, you know. And that's what happened. Excuse me. 2 weeks later or so, we met. I met Tom for the first time, and I put up my little amp, and I still have my guitar. This is the only guitar I owned back then. This is the Kramer Beretta. This is my Tapping the Vein guitar, and it has this Marilyn Monroe airbrush. Nice. Because I was always a Mick Mars fan, and Mick Mars had a guitar like this. But this is not very thrash metal. But this was the only guitar that I had. So I came in with this guitar, and they looked at this and said, "This is your guitar." I said, "Yeah. I'm sorry, this is the only guitar that I have." But what I lacked in thrash metal equipment, I made up for with pure energy. You know, I was so full of energy. I was young, I was wild, I wanted this, and I knew these songs by heart. And when we played them and they made a mistake, I said, "Hey, wait, stop. This is not how the song goes. This is, you know, we're playing it wrong." And they were kind of impressed by this. And they said, "Okay, this is great. Practice 2 more, practice The Law is the Law and one other song. See you next week." And I did, and then they said, "Okay, you're in." But Michael Hoffman called us. He wants to come back to Germany and talk to us. And if he's really coming and everything works out, we want to continue as a 4-piece with you and Michael Hoffman. Oh, and I was like that. Yes, that's a great idea. And in my head, I was like, "Oh fuck, this is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life." You know, A, Sodom has to be a 3-piece. B, I want to do this. Yeah. I don't know where I got the balls from back then, but I just said to myself, I want to do this. So a week goes by, we meet at the rehearsal space again, waiting for Michael, and they said, if he's not coming tonight, he's out, and you're the only guitar player in Sodom then. He didn't come, so I was the new and only guitar player in Sodom. Nice. Before the end of the year 1991, you know, it's crazy. I was in high school. I was a fucking high school kid, but they gave me this chance. And I know, you know, there was you know, I think everybody in life gets this comes to this point at least once where you know, okay, this is my chance, you know, but this is not this is a serious decision for my life, and this is not child's play anymore, you know. We're not in Kansas anymore, you know. It's and all these contracts are coming, and my mother worked for a lawyer, so she knew legal stuff. And I was still living with my mom, you know. I was a kid, and I showed her all these contracts, you know, publishing, another publishing company, management, merchandise, record contract, you know, piles and piles of contracts. And I said, "Mom, do you have any idea what this means?" And she says, "No, because this is not the stuff we're usually working with, you know. And who does, you know?" But back then, there were no media lawyers, you know, or music lawyers. That, at least I didn't know any. And then I said, "Mom, I want this so much, but if we contact a lawyer and have all these contracts checked out, maybe they don't want me in the band because they think I'm difficult to work with." So, and she says, "You really want this, right?" I said, "Yeah. And we have no idea what's in this, what all this means." I said, no, we don't." And then I said, "Mom, you know what? Let's just flip to the final page where I have to sign. with every contract where we don't read it anymore. We don't check it. We don't call a lawyer. I just sign it and put myself on this roller coaster, really not knowing what's going to happen next. And that's what I did. I just signed everything, you know, this is here, mailed it, and thought to myself, okay, the roller coaster is really about to begin, you know. Let's see what happens. And that made up, and that was the beginning of some interesting times and conversations, you know, because I think neither Tom nor Chris ever read or understood a record contract, you know. I believe they only checked how big the advance was, and then they signed it. But just some really interesting negative and positive things came out of these contracts, you know. But because I signed them, this is basically the reason why we are talking today, you know. I'm still a part of this. I still own this.
Yeah.
I still own this. My part of this, you know. It's and not knowing, I made a good decision for my life later in my life. Sometimes it's really better if you don't know anything and you just do it. You just have to follow your intuition and listen to your heart, not to your head, and to your gut feeling, you know. And in the long run, it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Just jump in there and
just jump in there, jump in the shark pool, jump into the deep end of the pool, you know.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing is they could throw you out 3 years later. Oh, oops, they did.
Yeah, that's true. That's funny. But the good thing is, I mean, you know, I'm sure it was probably devastating at the time and frustrating.
Traumatic.
Yeah,
traumatic.
But the good thing is, I mean, you dusted yourself off, and that's when you joined Powergod, right? Like not too long after, a couple of years maybe.
Oh, you know about Powergod? You know, yeah. That was just a fun project. My band at the time was the Traceelords. That was a punk rock and roll band, you know, where I was the singer. After Sodom, I decided I wanted to sing, be the front man. And one afternoon, I owned a recording studio with the drummer at the time, who was in the Traceelords. And one day I said, hey, I have these ideas for heavy metal, power metal songs. And then we recorded a demo and found this singer, and I don't know, 7 years and 5 records later, you know, we had this body of work with a band called Powergod, but we didn't use our names or our faces. I was Riff Randall in Powergod, you know, a pseudonym, an alias, you know. And Riff Randall is, of course, the protagonist's name in Rock and Roll High School, the Ramones movie.
That's right.
And
I forgot about that.
And we just had some fun. But we did some 5 cool albums, including 2 tribute albums to 80s metal. Do you know those?
I don't have those. No.
They are. You can find them on YouTube. They're called That's Metal Lesson 1 and 2, and they are from 2001 and 2004 or 5. And back then, nobody was waving the flag of 80s underground metal. You know, there was different things going on. But we wanted to pay homage to our heroes from back then, like Hellion, Exciter, Agent Steel, Abattoir, Chastain, Loudness, Omen, Nasty Savage, Hallows Eve, Destruction, Tank, Project Driver is on there, Savage Grace, and we covered those songs.
Nice.
And in a few cases, we managed to get hold of the original artists who sent us DAT tapes. You know, there was no file sharing. You know, just here's an MP3. 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
you know, we had to FedEx dead cassettes with solos from Juan Garcia and Bernie Versailles from Agent Steel, that we could feature them on our version of Bleed for the Gods from Agent Steel, you know.
Nice.
So, but that was my power metal thing. And I was the guitarist, and I also played bass, and I wrote the songs, and it's yeah, I got to live out my power metal desires.
That's great. And then you've also got your solo project, the Andy Briggs and band, and then you've also got the mighty Double Crush Syndrome, which
Right.
is just killer punk rock. It's so fun. It's so fun. Like that. I mean, I think you've got what, two or three albums, right?
2 albums and an EP. Yes, 2 regular albums. That's right. Yes. Yeah, it's punk rock, power pop. You know, I'm the singer. We are a power trio. We've toured a lot. You know, after Sodom, with my various bands, I've been on tour with Whitesnake, with Alice Cooper, with Ted Nugent, Doro, Skid Row, Sebastian Bach, all kinds of bands. You know, we really learned what it means to be a support band, because in Sodom, I was the headliner.
Yeah.
You know, and I made this journey backwards. You know, it's but we had so much fun and so many great times, so many great tours with Loudness. You know, we played with Loudness a lot, which is crazy because Akira is one of my guitar heroes. You know,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And you know, I'm a rock and roll maniac. I'm really in it for life. I love music. This is all I can think about, you know, music and film. But music is everything to me, everything. And I really what I'm the most proud of is that I managed to avoid a day job for all my life now, you know, by being in rock and roll. And everything I do, it's always ups and downs, you know. It's some things are very successful, some things are less successful, but everything buys you, everything you do buys you more time in the business.
Yeah.
You know, and I love being in the music, in the rock and roll world. I love the business side of it. It's, you know, I still live in the house that I was born in. I've never moved. It's our home. It's our house. It's a big house, and I'm still sitting here with a guitar that I bought in 1989, and I basically, in essence, do the same thing I did as a kid. You know, it grew. You know, I have a small, I have a production company with my girlfriend. We produce image films and videos and podcasts and all kinds of stuff. But I'm still a full-time musician. I think about music all the time. I record all the time. I release stuff, and this is really my biggest success, that I've been able to do this for all my professional life.
That's amazing.
You know?
Cool.
Yes, thank you. It is. It really is. It amazes me. And when we talked before we started the recording, we were talking about Kiss because you're wearing a Kiss shirt, and I'm a massive Kiss fan. And just last month, my solo band, the Andy Briggs band, we were the special guest here at Gene Simmons, at the only German club show of the Gene Simmons band here in Germany.
Oh, wow.
They played the Wacken open air, of course, and then they played one club show here in the area where I live, the Ruhr area, where all Sodom Creator and all these bands come from. German the cradle of German thrash metal. That's where we are here. And the Gene Simmons band played one club show in Germany, and my band was the special guest.
Nice.
So I still get to fulfill my dreams. You know, I still get to make circles come full. And I sometimes think it's been a crazy journey. And I love it. You know, I've been a touring guitar player for Tough and Pretty Boy Floyd from America when they were on UK's and Europe tours. You know, so I've been in one of the heaviest bands in the world, and I've played with Pretty Boy Floyd, which is really opposite worlds. The other is the other, both ends of the spectrum. So, but I love this. You know, everything but boredom.
Yeah, that's great. That is amazing.
And I still wake up every day enthusiastic about what I'm going to do. You know, working on Sodom again. This is crazy. You know, I can only, you know, I can tell people how to make it, but I can really tell people how to survive it and pull through and stuck to your guns, and how you stick to your guns, and how rewarding it is to really stick to your guns and be yourself no matter what.
Yeah.
Leave money on the table sometimes. Don't jump through every hoop they're holding for you. You know, it's just you have to really listen to the flame that's burning inside of you, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. And it seems, I mean, I think that's a great point. And it seems, I mean, and your charisma too. I think it's, you know, you Andy's charisma, I think, is really a driving force, you know, in your career. I mean, you watch any live footage of you playing, and you have so much energy, and you genuinely, you can feel it, that you are genuinely having a great time up on stage. Like,
exactly.
You really enjoy what you do, and you bring it 100%, you know, every time. I mean, it's, you know, it's obvious watching you play live, you know, any footage, you know, pull up any YouTube video, watching you play live, even video, like rock videos, you know. Yeah, I mean, you bring so much to the table, you know, as a front man, and as a guitar player. And yeah, just, you're a joy to watch. It's, you know, it gets you psyched up and fired up. Just watching you play is, you know, it's you know, it's, for me anyway,
Thank you very much.
a joy. You know, it's and I think that for me, that's what heavy metal and rock and roll and punk rock is supposed to be about, is just joy, you know, for me.
Exactly. I never wanted to be the best or the fastest, but I wanted to be the best I could be. I wanted to be myself, express myself, and it's a cliche, but I wanted to march to the beat of my own drum. So, and then on the other hand, you have to accept that you live and die and win and fail on your own terms. But that's all right with me, you know. It's if something I cannot blame anybody else but me. But I do everything with a pure heart, and so I don't have to blame myself, because I know I've done everything. I've done everything to make it as good as possible. Of course, it's not only me. I have a team, band members, you know, friends, producers, you know, I work with, and but this is all. I'm a very loyal person, and this is you know, there's sometimes new people come in, but you know, at the core it's always the same group of people. Sometimes we're together, sometimes we're not together, but you know, we always gravitate towards each other. And you know, I love rock and roll so much. You know, it's I just wanted to be in rock and roll. You know, from the moment I saw Rock and Roll High School for the first time 42 years ago on German television, seeing the Ramones, not believing what I'm seeing. You know, it's this. What is this band? Who is this band? This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. You know, as I said, you can't be Gene Simmons, but you can try to be Johnny Ramone. You know, there's only one Johnny Ramone to me, but to me, Johnny Ramone is the greatest the greatest guitar player ever. You know, it's not, you know, this is because I could never be Yngwie Malmsteen. I could never be John Lennon. I could never be Eddie Van Halen, but I could be this with a tuned guitar, which this clearly is not. but you know, I could do this.
Yeah.
So, and this is, I can play a guitar. I can play a half decent guitar solo, of course, but you know, it's. I want to entertain. You know, I want to bring energy across. I want people who give me the gift of their time and come to a show of my bands. I want to give them everything I've got, like it's the last show. You know, because they could do other stuff. You know. Yeah. I think Netflix is still on, so they could just stay home and watch a movie. But we're in this together now. We're in this room, and I'm on stage, and you paid X amount of money to see me, no matter how much, even if it's just $10. I don't care. You know, we have to be. I want to be worthy. For the gods of rock and roll, so to speak. Yeah. I want Johnny and Joey Ramone to be proud of me.
Nice.
Of
Nice. I think they would be. That's cool. Speaking of playing live, do you have any shows coming up? Anything on the horizon?
Not at the moment. Okay. I just played an Andy Brinks plays Ramones solo and acoustic show 2 days ago. That's what I also do.
Oh, cool.
Because I love playing Ramones songs. I plug in my acoustic guitar into my distorted amp, and I play my acoustic guitar hanging very low, standing up, and I play, I don't know, 25 Ramones songs in an hour. Nice. And this is what I love to do, because, you know, it has to, you know, the Ramones legacy has to be, how do you say it, kept alive. You know, and we played a Double Crush Syndrome. We were on a tour of Spain with Marky Ramone's band in May.
Oh, cool.
So that we played. I did some cool live things this year. At the moment, there are no shows lined up, but that will change for next year, definitely. Right now, I'm producing stuff, producing videos and podcasts. You know, it's. Fall is just around the corner. Winter is just around the corner, and time to lock the doors from the inside and roll up the sleeves and get to work.
Nice.
Behind the scenes.
Very cool. Very cool. I did want to. I don't want to keep you all night, but I did want to ask you about your film. You know, just speaking of your production company, you made a film called Full Circle. What can you tell me about that?
It's called, the full title is Full Circle, Last Exit Rock and Roll. And in 2018, my booking agent called me and said, Andy, sit down. I have to tell you something. And I said, okay, what is it? I said, you're going on tour with Skid Row. Double Crush Syndrome is going on tour with Skid Row. And I knew that this was in the works, but you never know. And then the news came, it's happening. And to me, Skid Row is the band that finally in '89 put me on my tracks. When I saw them live opening up for Motley Crue on the Dr. Feelgood tour, destroying Motley Crue on their Dr. Feelgood tour, I said, this is it. This is the Ramones trying to play Judas Priest songs. This is the best thing since sliced bread. You know, what is it? You know, I want to look like them. These are heroes I can really talk to, you know, who are real. You know, Kiss are Batman, and the Ramones are comic book heroes, so to speak, as well. Because if you know a band from a movie, it's different if you see them live for the first. That's the first thing. You know, the Ramones were bigger than life as well. Skid Row, they were right here. They were right in my face, you know. I could hunt them down after the show at their tour bus. I could talk to them, and they were real. And then they put out these great home videos. Oh, Say Can You Scream and Roadkill. And to this day, this is the Old and New Testament to me, of what a band should be like on stage and off stage. This is it. So fast forward to 2018, we're going on tour with them. I said, okay, this is the story. And then I had the idea. I put the phone down, and I was sitting on my couch, and I said to myself, this is the story I want to tell, from being the ultimate fanboy, hearing the call of rock and roll through the mouths of Sebastian Bach and Skid Row, you know, really having an moment, you know, I said, and I want to make a movie. I don't want to write a book. I want to make a movie. And the concept was clear. I grabbed a notebook, and I wrote the basic concept of the film, because I didn't want to make a film about what I did, but why and how I did it. And I wanted to feature some friends. You know, Doro Pesch is in there. We're great friends. An actress, famous actress here in Germany, we're friends. Plus my guitar roadie from the Sodom days, who has been working with Kiss for the past 15 years, and Judas Priest and Deep Purple before that, Dio, is also in it, because I wanted to tell stories of driven people who are really in it to win it, and who will never lose sight of their goal, no matter if they will ever reach it. And I wanted to show that there is if there is a common denominator between all these people, what do driven people have in common? What do have determined people? What do they have in common? You know, on stage, off stage, actress, whatever. And so I didn't want to make a rockumentary, so to speak. I wanted to make a movie that I could have used badly when I was 18. I wanted people to give a timeless film that they could watch if they need some I don't know how to say it in English. You know, we all know the situation. You inside yourself, you know you are right. What you feel is right. What you want in life, what you want to do is right. And there are all these people standing in front of you, family, teachers, co-workers, co-students, telling you, no, you're wrong. You cannot do this. This can't be done. You will never reach your goal. You cannot. This is impossible. This is impossible. And this film, if you're that person hearing this, that everything is impossible, you can put on my film, and this film tells you that it's possible. And it gives you hope and encourages you to believe in yourself and really follow your path and feel the flame burning inside of you, and what this really tells you. I mean, if you are a very short person and your dream is to be a basketball all-star, look for a different flame inside of you. You know, maybe there is maybe there is another flame. Maybe it's not a flame. Maybe it's just a fart that it came out the wrong end. You know. But if something really, if something really resonates with you, whether it is rock and roll or being an actress or being, that's also in the movie, being a friend of mine who when he was a kid, when I was drawing his faces, he draw Porsche automobiles for no reason, and he became this sports car inventor. You know, he's building high-end sports cars for Porsche, and you know, and his connection to me is he was a Sodom fan, and my work ethic made him do it. It's crazy, but it's he took what he saw in me and learned from me, so to speak, and translated that into his area of expertise and his field and his work. So if you want answers, I don't know if the film gives you answers, but it's certainly gives you hope and encouragement.
Very cool. So
not to give up and really believe in yourself, even if nobody else believes in you.
Nice.
And this is the Kiss school of thinking. This is what Kiss gave me, and I told this to Gene on various occasions a few weeks ago. Again, you know, I'm carrying the flame. I'm carrying on. You know, I'm passing this on to people who are interested in what I do, and this is a philosophy, a way of thinking, and a school of thinking, not to listen to the ideas that other people might have for you. You know, people like to give you all kinds of advice, but I'm not interested in advice or criticism from people that have no idea who I am, what I want, and especially from people who actually have never done it. You know, I mean, your podcast, I don't think that there was anybody who said, hey, Victor, why don't you do this? Why don't you do a podcast? I get a feeling from you that you wanted this, and you reached out to people, and you bought a microphone, and you had this idea of a concept. Yeah. And this is what you want to do. This is what you want to what you want to do for or in rock and roll. So it has to come from within you. And if you follow that, you can never fail. Maybe commercially, but not as a person. You know, you cannot predict success. It's impossible. Yeah. But you can be yourself and work to make your dreams come true, even if they don't come true. But sometimes parts of it come true. Maybe not the big thing, but maybe 100 small things, and that's also success. And that's also awesome, and sometimes way more than other people will ever achieve. And they're also, everybody's coming on with advice and ideas, and you have to just be strong and say no thanks, I'm good, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, nice. That's really cool. Yeah, I love this idea, this motivational, you know, it's a motivational film. I think that's
exactly. Cool. It's more a motivational film than a rock and roll film. There's not a lot of music in it, but I don't know if it's available in the US. It's here on Amazon. It's here on Prime and on Apple in Germany and Europe. I don't know if you guys have it.
Okay.
But if anybody's interested, I have. You can get a Blu-ray from me. It has an English. There is an English version, an English track.
Okay. Very cool.
On it.
Nice. That's great. That's fascinating. Cool. Well, Andy, this has been an absolute pleasure and an honor chatting with you today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Great. And yeah, again, for those of you watching, if you look in the description below, there's a link to the Sodom Tapping the Vein, the new remastered Redux version coming out.
One thing.
Oh yes.
One thing. Your thing is called brew. It has brews in it, right?
Yeah, brews.
So you usually talk about beer with your guests.
No, it's interviews, I sometimes occasionally talk about beer, but my subsequent page that I also do, I pair beer with heavy metal albums, and these interviews also go on that page. But and that's a Facebook
So
page.
so which beer goes with which album?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's my own crazy.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I would think that Rain and Blood goes well with Heineken.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, kind of like that. Yeah,
Kind of like that.
yeah.
But I told you in advance, I have to disappoint you. I don't drink. I don't drink any alcohol, so I'm not a good Bruce talk guest.
No,
Show
no,
guest.
no, it's perfect. Yeah, on this I usually just talk music, so yeah,
Okay.
that's great. Yeah, so yeah, those of you watching, check out in the links below. You can check out all of Andy's bands, as well as the Sodom, the re-release of Tapping the Vein, and you can also there'll be a link too. You can check out his film, Full Circle. So again, Andy, thank you so very much. This was
Thank you very much. It's been a
fantastic.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.